What if I told you the final words of Jesus were not spoken just to the people standing at the cross, but to you, right now, in this moment? 7 statements, spoken in pain, in silence, in what looked like defeat. Yet hidden inside them is the greatest message of hope humanity has ever heard. And most people completely miss it. Because these were not random words, they were intentional, precise, eternal. Each one carries power, power to heal what's broken in you, power to restore what you thought was lost, power to change your life if you truly understand it. So today, we're not just remembering Good Friday, we're stepping into it. And by the end of this video, you will never see the cross the same way again. Imagine this moment. The sky is dark. The air is heavy. There is tension, confusion, fear. A man hangs on a cross. Not just any man, Jesus. His body is weak. His breathing is slow, yet every word he speaks carries eternal weight. People are watching, some mocking, some crying, some confused. But no one fully understands that this moment is changing everything. And then he speaks. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Think about that. In the middle of pain, in the middle of betrayal, in the middle of suffering, he chose forgiveness. Not anger, not revenge, not judgment, forgiveness. And not just for one person, but for everyone. The ones who mocked him, the ones who doubted him, the ones who put him there. He looked at them and said, "Forgive them." That kind of love doesn't make sense. It's not human, it's divine. Because when we are hurt, what do? We hold on. We replay the pain. We remember the words. We build walls. But Jesus, in his darkest moment, let it go. And here's the truth. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was okay. It's choosing to be free. Because when you hold on to pain, it doesn't hurt them, it hurts you. And maybe right now, there's someone in your life you haven't forgiven. Someone who hurt you. Someone who betrayed you. Someone who left wounds that still haven't healed. This moment is for you. Because the same words spoken on that cross are speaking to your heart right now. Forgive them. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's power, it's release, it's freedom. And if Jesus could forgive in that moment, you can forgive too. You don't have to carry that weight anymore, because what comes next is even more powerful. A message that proves, no matter how late it seems, it's never too late. And then, in the middle of this moment, something unexpected happens. Next to Jesus are 2 criminals, both guilty, both condemned, both facing the end of their lives. One of them mocks him, but the other sees something different. In his final moments, he turns to Jesus and says, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." No long prayer, no perfect words, no religious performance, just a simple, honest cry. And Jesus responds with words that echo through eternity. "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." Think about that. This man had no time to fix his past, no time to prove himself, no time to earn anything. And yet, he was accepted. Immediately, fully, completely. That is grace. Not earned, not deserved, freely given. And this changes everything. Because it means no matter how far you feel you've gone, no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter how late it seems, it's not too late for you. You don't need to have it all together. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to turn and call on Him. Because in that moment, on that cross, Jesus showed us something powerful. Salvation is not about your past. It's about your decision, right now. And maybe you're watching this thinking, I've made too many mistakes. I've gone too far. I'm not worthy. Neither was that man. And yet, he was welcomed. So hear this clearly. You are not disqualified. You are not too far gone. You are not forgotten. If you turn to Him, He will receive you. And then, something deeply personal happens. In the middle of all this suffering, Jesus looks down, and He sees His mother, standing there, watching, heartbroken, helpless. Imagine that moment, a mother watching her son in pain, unable to stop it, unable to take it away. And even in that moment, Jesus thinks of her. He turns and says, "Woman, behold your son." And to His disciple, "Behold your mother." Even while carrying the weight of the world, He made sure she would not be alone. That is love. Not just words, but action. Not just emotion, but responsibility. He was showing us something powerful. Love doesn't stop when life gets hard. It shows up even more. Because it's easy to love when everything is going well. But real love shows up in pain, shows up in sacrifice, shows up when it's inconvenient. And maybe this is a reminder for you today, to check on someone, to care for someone, to be there for someone who needs you. Because sometimes the greatest expression of faith is simply love. And in that moment, on that cross, Jesus showed us that even in suffering, love still speaks. Love still gives. Love still remains. But then, everything shifts. The tone changes. The weight deepens. Because the next words are some of the most difficult and most powerful words ever spoken. And then, darkness falls. Not just around Him, but within the moment itself. The atmosphere changes. The weight becomes heavier. The silence louder. And then Jesus cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" These are not quiet words. This is a cry. Raw, honest, deep. In this moment, He feels alone, abandoned, separated. And this is hard to understand, because how could the Son, not because He deserved it, but because we did? And maybe this is the part that connects the deepest. Because there are moments in life when you feel the same way. When you pray and hear nothing. When you hope and see nothing. When you feel like God is distant. If you've ever felt that, you are not alone. Even Jesus felt it. But here's what makes this moment powerful. He didn't turn away. He didn't give up. He didn't walk away. He still cried out, "My God." Even in the silence, He held on. And that's the message for you. Even when you don't feel God, He is still there. Even when it feels quiet, He is still working. Even when it feels distant, you are not abandoned. Because sometimes, what feels like absence is actually part of a greater purpose. And then, after all of this, Jesus says something simple. 2 words. I thirst. At first, it seems small, almost insignificant, but it's not. Because in these 2 words, we see something powerful. We see His humanity. He felt pain. He felt exhaustion. He felt physical weakness. He understands what it means to struggle. And that matters. Because it means whatever you're going through right now, He understands. Not from a distance, not as an observer, but from experience. When you feel tired, He understands. When you feel overwhelmed, He understands. When you feel like you can't go on, He understands. There is nothing you're facing that He cannot relate to. And maybe today you feel drained, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. This moment is a reminder that you don't have to pretend to be strong. You don't have to hide your struggle. You don't have to carry it alone. Because the same voice that said, "I thirst," understands your need. And He meets you in it. Not after you fix everything, not after you become perfect, but right there in your weakness. And now we arrive at the final moments. The words that change everything. The words that declare victory. And then, after everything, after the pain, after the silence, after the weight of it all, Jesus speaks again. 3 words. It is finished. At first, it might sound like the end, like defeat, like everything is over. But it's not. This is not a cry of loss. This is a declaration of victory. Because in that moment, everything He came to do was completed. Every promise fulfilled. Every burden carried. Every debt paid. It is finished means the past no longer has power over you. It is finished means your mistakes don't define you anymore. It is finished means the door to a new life is open. What looked like defeat was actually the greatest victory in history. And maybe today, you're carrying things that feel unfinished. Pain that hasn't healed. Questions that haven't been answered. Battles that feel ongoing. But this moment reminds you, the ultimate battle has already been won. You are not fighting for victory. You are living from it. It is finished is not just something He said. It's something you can live in. Freedom, grace, new beginnings. And then, in His final moment, Jesus says, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." This is surrender, complete, total trust. After everything He endured, He places it all in God's hands. No resistance, no fear, just trust. And this might be the hardest step for many of us, because we like control. We hold on. We try to figure everything out. We carry what we were never meant to carry. But this moment teaches us something powerful. Peace comes when you let go. When you stop trying to control everything and start trusting God with everything. Your future, your fears, your unanswered questions. Place it in His hands. 7 words, 7 moments, 1 powerful message. Forgiveness, salvation, love, understanding your pain, knowing you're not alone, victory, and surrender. These were not just His last words. They were His greatest message. A message that says, you are forgiven. You are not too far gone. You are deeply loved. You are not alone in your pain. Your struggles are understood. Your victory is already secured. And your life is safe in God's hands. This is what that moment was all about. Right now, don't just watch this and move on. Pause. Reflect. Let it sink in. If this message touched you, type this in the comments. It is finished. Let it be your declaration. And if you know someone who needs hope, share this with them. You never know whose life it could change. And if you want more messages like this that strengthen your faith, that bring you closer to God, make sure you subscribe. Because this message wasn't just for that moment. It was for you. today.